name's Frederick Kotieno Nundu. I'm a student taking a course in Bachelor's of Medicine and Bachelor's of Surgery at Kenyatta University. I'm a final year student. I'm in my 6th year. I'm just waiting to do my final exam and then I graduate, hopefully at the end of the year. More so, I am an innovator. I've been involved in the historical innovation of the first African-made mechanical ventilator to support or to assist patients who needed ventilation or mechanical ventilators during the COVID-19 era. Personally, I'm a researcher. I've been involved in research as part of my input as a medical student, but also as a future practitioner, not just to rely on what has already been researched, but to continue improving in the services that are being provided in the medical field. Above all, I'm a student leader. I'm involved in advocacy, and I'm a student mentor, and I've been involved in different areas that we might get another opportunity someday to talk about. I started primary school. In my earlier years, I was in Kisumu, Seme, and then I moved from Seme. My family relocated to Mumias, and it's where I stayed and did my primary school. A lot of challenges accompanied me there, but finally I managed to pass primary. Then I proceeded to high school. And high school, I went to 2 high schools. One, I went to Moi Forces Academy, and part of it I also went to Our Lady of Fatima. That is where I did my Form 4. When I passed there, I went out of school for a period, and then later I joined Kenyatta University with the privilege of studying medicine and surgery. And I went through the course of studying medicine and surgery. Up to now, I'm in my 6th year. Alongside there are a lot of things that I did. It was not just a bookworm, but I did a lot of things. Actually, from childhood, as young as before going to school, I had some roles that I was doing there that I believe later on when I look back were preparing me to be a future surgeon and a future doctor. My elder brother had an issue with his muscles, and my work was to make sure that I always take care of him. His right hand perhaps had a condition, so it was becoming a bit smaller and it needed physiotherapy. And I was the one who was privileged to do the work of making sure that that hand was not paining him, and I was always massaging his muscles using the available oil and some leaves. So it started from even without knowing. Then later on, as years went by, when I was in primary, around 5-6 years, around 6 years, my mom fell ill, and I used to go to see her in hospital St. Mary's in Mumias. And she used to be on and off hospital, and she had this condition where her blood levels kept going low, and they used to give her medication to increase the blood levels. Also, he had an enteric system or a gastro system of the food pipe until the food comes out. She had a problem there where she had continuous inflammation, and she was having more of loose stool on and off. And she used to lose weight and gain, lose and gain. So she was often in and out of hospital. And these things really disturbed me as a person. And many years later down the line, she happened to pass, and it really had a mark in my life, because I really wished that I could, one, be able to find out what my mom was healing from. And she left me naked, a child, being that my father was not there initially to begin with. So I was left there as an orphan. And you know what happens in such a family. So I really wanted to find out what really made my mom leave me that young, so that I could not feel the love of the parent, the care of the parent, somebody to see me when I've done the homework or not, to guide me in the work, and also to guide me in life. And I made a decision that one day, if I get an opportunity, I want to be a medical doctor. One, to find out what really was this my mom was suffering from. And more importantly is to make sure that I take care of people's parents so that they don't leave them while they're still young and have not fulfilled their lives. Yeah, we are about 6. We are 6. A number of them have passed. But I came from a background that is traditionally polygamous, and that comes with challenges that come in the African society where they are the polygamous family. But I just want to make it like the challenges that I get as a person rising from polygamous family. If it is not taken care of, it can really disrupt somebody's life. And one of the things that it did to me is that we had to move to live in a slum. In Mumias, a slum called Lumino, and another slum called Mjini. It's still there up to now. And that's where I grew up, in the slums. And life was obviously not good because of the lack of social amenities and the privileges on getting time to study on your own. The room is just one room, and that's why everybody sleeps, everybody cooks, and everybody has to study from there. The environment is not conducive, and you have to wake up in the morning to run to school to try and catch the glimpses you see. I really had a lot of individuals. One from home. From home is my mom herself. She used to tell me that there's nothing that you cannot do in this world if you are determined. As long as God has given you a brain, eyes, and hands. And she told me that whether I am here or not there, as long as you have these things and you trust in God and you believe in your abilities, you can achieve anything that you want. And you can go as far as you want. That was one. So motivation was coming from home, one. The other motivation came from my teachers. They understood one, they knew that I was a bright student. I could miss classes for several days. And I missed classes because I was doing business at home to get something that we eat. And then when the exams are coming, I would borrow notes from my friends and study, and I go and pass and become a top student. So my teachers knew that I was a special student. And special in the sense that I didn't need so much time to study for me to understand concepts. And they encouraged me with this. They told me, you can go even to a national school if you want, even if you're coming from just a public primary school, even if you live in slums. The encouragement came from my teachers, my head teacher. At some point, I was sent home for school fees because I didn't have school fees. And since I stayed home for some time, the headmaster just sent a message home and said, go and tell Frederick to come and study. He took over that role. By name is called Muinamo Akunda. He's late now. I'm sorry. From Mumias DEB. Muinamo Akunda. He was my head teacher and a personal trainer and motivator. From there, one other person I found to motivate me through education life was my principal in high school. The principal is called Mrs. Janet Mabango. Mrs. Janet Mabango always encouraged me to give my best and told me if I needed something in terms of studies, I should just talk to her. She doesn't have the money, yes, but she'll do the best she can. Are you getting that? So that principal did a lot in my life. Another one was my class teacher, Mrs. Karuri. Mrs. Karuri walked with me. She told me that, one, I know you've been out of school for some time, that is in high school. You've been out of school for some time. You have been going through a lot, but just concentrate on studying, pass your exams. When you get a chance to go to university, things will not be the same. And then the general family itself, my siblings, looking at them was a big motivation. I looked at them and I said, I don't want them to live a life that we are living in the slums, right? I wanted to uplift them. I wanted to uplift also the society, my society, people living in a poor setting, right? In a poor setting, and I knew that education was going to see us through, because education is a big changer, and I realized this early enough. Interestingly, one, I did not enjoy staying out of school. So I was doing business. What was I selling? I was selling all sort of things, but the main one, I was selling biscuit. But you know biscuits? I sold biscuits. We sold it in the center, Umia's town center. And when the vehicles are coming, you run after the vehicle. And you come and stand along the highway, yes, the highway boys. So you walk along along that car in the window and convince people, hey, biscuit tamu iko na vitamin K na W, karibu karibu. At least you entice them to buy these things. And then the broken ones, of course, you'll feed on them in the evening.
So you used to eat your stock?
I eat part of the stock. I will sell water. I will sell onions, anything that was in season. And I'm trying to balance this with school. So the problem was that, it's a day school. So when you're selling things and your friends are in school, when they're coming out, when they are going home, you have to run and hide so that they don't see you. Because they'll go and tell the teacher, oh, I saw Freddy is just there. He dropped out of school and is enjoying selling the biscuits. The childhood fear that the other children are going to see you. Two, initially it's embarrassing. You're not doing that thing because you like it. It's embarrassing, right? And when you're doing this and going to study, you wish to be in class. Not because I want to be a doctor, right? I want to be in class and pass my exams so that at the end of the year, I can go to the next level. That's what a child thinks about, just to pass the exam. And then the basic things, I'm obsessed about being the top student. So if I'm at home, then I might not be the top student again. Those are things that were really disturbing me at that point. But generally the fear of, if I remain out for so long, what will happen at the end? And then there were also things going on in my mind. Suppose I pass my exams, will I go to high school? Because I know there's no money even in maintaining me in primary school. There's no money. I had a sister who, during that period, dropped out and became a house help. So you can see things are not going well, right? Things are really not going on well. And you're just hoping that one day God will do something and this education will proceed to somewhere. And my mother told me that if you perform and be the best, bright students are not left by the society. You just do your best. The rest will follow. And I trusted in God only that. So I was not studying in primary to be a doctor. In high school, I was studying hard, this time with an aim of making it to university, because in high school you already have ideas of what you want to be. You already know that doctor that I wanted, that dream that I wanted in childhood, now there's a chance to get it. And when you remember, there's always a period where you have to fill in those forms of the university you want to go to and the course that you want to do. It becomes real. It becomes real. Then you say, this is the chance to become that medical doctor. The beginning. When you get your results, it's a happy moment. And you want everybody to ask you, what did you get? And you want to tell them. And by that time, I'm a bit matured. And I'm doing things here and there. I'm doing tuitions to my friends and earning something here and there, just preparing if I could go to university. And then later on, you look forward to joining university. You look forward to joining university. So if later on, because I didn't join university immediately, but later on when I joined university, the happiness and the thrill that comes. I was seated in this class behind there. I was seated behind there where that guy is sitting. That's the first day. And I remember the professor who was teaching here, Dr. Kamau, was teaching anatomy in this class. I was so engrossed and happy with being in med school. I did not hear anything that he said. I was just asking myself, you mean, do you know you are in med school?
At this time,
yeah.
Were you thinking that young friend that was selling biscuits and water living near Kakamega High?
Yes.
Were you thinking of that friend?
Yes, and that Fred keeps playing in my life every day up to now. I keep replaying that young Fred keeps coming in my dreams, right? Because remember, coming to Nairobi, I did not grow up here. I grew up in Mumias. So coming to Nairobi was because of this education.
Was it your first time?
It was my first time. It is education that brought me here. Otherwise, I was be rotting there.
Nairobi by bus.
By bus. So by being in this school, still always, this university takes me back. And I see myself studying. I used to be an early bird. I'm not a night owl. I wake up in the morning. So waking up at 2 as a child and studying until 7, right? And I always reflect it back. That childhood really impacted my life more than even high school, because it was a difficult place to come out. Because in that childhood environment, there are practically no people to look up to, because the friends who are around and those who are in higher classes, they never went anywhere. There are no real role models, so they are just around doing the small businesses around. Some of them don't proceed to high school. You see that? So coming out of that place, the real push factors was poverty, to run away from poverty, just get out of this place.
Poverty is the motivation.
It was the motivation, just get out of this place. If there's a chance of going to a school, high school, where you're in boarding and staying there, from this, it will be the best. And I always aimed at the top, the national school. So that's why. So when I'm in this class, sitting behind there, that picture still plays in my mind. And I was sitting there looking at the professor there and looking at the lecturer. And he was teaching something in anatomy. I just remember something, there's a lacuna and something. Those are the words I was just hearing. It was early, we were studying the lower limb, the theory, and then we go for practical down there to dissect the cadavers. True, I was anxious, how will it be like? But I convinced myself that this is what I want. I wanted to see these bodies. I wanted to practically get my hand to become a true doctor. That's really I wanted. But the anxiety was there, true. It was like, you mean I'm going to be really in touch? And you have to gain encouragement from your friends. You see them, there are those who are more courageous. So you walk in with them, right? Yeah, and generally the whole of that first week, honestly, I can say I was just in my own world. I was too happy to be in med school, because it's a privilege the world over. It's not easy to be in med school. And in a great university like this, Kenyatta University, great buildings, a room somewhere you study, somewhere to eat, right? And then just a good environment. And more importantly, in med school. Now, in med school, I studied anatomy. Anatomy itself was tough. The year was tough. After I came back and started studying, I realized this thing is not butter and bread. It's not what I thought it would be. Yes, I always know I'm intelligent, but this is a class of top students. Everybody is a top student here. And you're looking here and you say, now great minds are meeting here. And then the lecturer tells you, this is not a place where you're going to compete against each other. You're going to work together as a team for you to make it here. Forget about the grades you got, forget about everything. Just study and discuss, because you can't study alone. Yes, you'll have your time to study, but you must discuss with your friends to understand concepts better. So we were put in groups. I've always been a person who is not just book oriented only, and I've always wanted to impact the lives of people. So immediately I came here, I joined a club that's called Scorer, and we used to go to primary schools and high schools, and even in the villages and slums around. Aim here is to talk to these people about health, general health, hygiene, and more importantly is on we were talking about period poverty, and how the girl child, especially it was involved in empowering the girl child, where we empower the girl child on how to know how their period, the physiology of how they go through the monthly periods. And then we're involved in teaching boys about what is monthly periods. And we were surprised that actually people don't know what is monthly period, that it's a natural process that goes on in girls. And the reason why we were doing this was because in the African setting and in different communities in this country and generally in Africa, during periods, when they are ladies are going through their monthly periods, that is menstruation, there's a way they are seen differently, right? They are seen perhaps as unclean, right? They should not interact with men, and there's a way they are not looked in a good way. And the aim of just going out to do this, the main area is to help people understand that this one is a natural process. This is physiology, body physiology, right? And without this natural process going on, then the human race will not be there. And we do this not just to girls, but also to boys. And then we will go out to outsource some funds and to buy pads, and distribute these pads because we know of communities around where during periods, the ladies, the children, the female who have reached reproductive age, they cannot even afford a pad. So they use things like a towel. They cut a towel and they use down there. There are those who use leaves. And even in their communities, what we found that people are using dry fecal matter from the dry cow dung. That's what they use to, so that they can absorb. And it led to what? To missing school. They cannot go to school. As I grew on, I became more confident and started to participate in other things apart from playing football and sports, and with my friends, and also in the team as a team, because I'm a team player. Apart from these sports that help to keep ourselves healthy and also to decrease generally the lifestyle diseases through sports, I was interested also in science, and then I developed interest in research. Now the aim of getting into research was to find out a few solutions of the problems that is affecting us in the society. And these problems, some of them don't have present solutions, and some of these problems, because research comes with new ideas to change the way people do things, right? So I joined a research club. We called it KUMREC, Kenyatta University Medical Research Club, and I got a few concepts on how to research. I can tell you that part of the researches I did, there's an organization that sponsored my research. I did a research in Thika Level 5. And in Thika Level 5, the aim there was to establish the provision of psychological support given to post-abortion women, right, at Thika Level 5. That was the title of the research. And we did it under, we got some funds from a donor and through the university. And it's called HAPPY, right? So this research, we did this research with a group of friends of mine, we came up with solution. We found out the following, that actually the hospital, which was a representative of other hospitals, they were not following the WHO standards of providing medical care services to women who had a miscarriage. Most of the important things that I have achieved in this in my life as a student, mainly it has come out in the university, because this is the time I've had time to now show my full potential. And one is to participate in the activities such as the SCORA activities that are aimed at empowering the girl child, right? In terms of the menstrual poverty, yeah, and giving out monthly period, the monthly period pads, and just generally educating the society. So as a person, I feel this one is a fulfillment because I was involved in doing something that people don't do. People talk to only girls, but this time we went around to talk to also boys, so that they understand, so that when they see their sisters at home with these problems, they can understand and not to see them differently. That is one. I was also interested in sports generally, and the sports was generally for my well-being and also for working as a team with my friends. Yeah, so I was interested in football and also athletics generally. Other thing I was involved was also in research. And one of the most notable research that I did, amongst the other researches that I did, was invention of the medical ventilator. It was the COVID-19, during the COVID-19 period. And we just came together as students from engineering. We were in a society that we called IEEE, Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineering. And it had a sub-branch that we call EMBS, Engineering in Medicine and Biological Sciences. So it gives a balance between medical students and the engineering students. And we will interact together and come up with ideas, volunteer to do things. So when we had COVID-19 is when we came together and said, look, as medicine and engineers, we can come together. The president has told us that the main problem that we have in this country is we don't have ventilators. Why can't we try and make a ventilator? So we divide ourselves into groups, and then we go and we divide ourselves into small groups and try to research on what a ventilator is about. So we go outside there. All students were sent home because it was COVID period. So then we wrote a proposal to the Vice Chancellor, Professor Wainaina. And then when he reviewed it, he said, okay, then you can come and we give you the support. So we came together and we put our heads together and we came up with something. Many universities were trying a lot of things from all over the world. But we are grateful and thank God that ours went through. We actually made a true ventilator. It's called KISWATE. And after doing this ventilator, the president saw it. The president was very much interested in it. So he gave me an award alongside my friends. So I got an award of the head of state commendation for the outstanding work that had done in mitigating and helping to mitigate coronavirus, because it was the first time an African country was going to produce a ventilator to begin with. It had not been done anywhere in this Africa, and it was starting from scratch because there were other universities they bought a ventilator, they opened it up and they did reverse engineering, but it didn't work. For us, we did it with our own ideas, and we did from parts from different machines. One, I remember we used to get some parts from a balloon, the one that we use, ambubag, the one that we pump the baby with. We just pick a spare part. As long as we have the idea, this one there. We need a resistor that looks like this. We can pick this from here. And then I remember there's even a Renault machine that it was a broken machine there. We went and picked some parts. So we just assembled things together. But the thing was the science, the thinking process. And we came together. We had students who were doing coding together, and we came together and we made this. So WHO came and they looked at it. People from different countries came and looked at it to ascertain if it is really true. Kenya Bureau of Standards, that is involved in terms of standards, came here to see if it's really working, it's true, or it's just something that we picked from somewhere. In fact, at some point, it broke down and we fixed it because we know how it works and we are the ones who made it. So we go to visitors from all over the world. From China, there's a time I spoke to a technologist from the United States of America who asked me what was in my ventilator. He asked for the doctor student who was doing that. So I was the one who was speaking to him. He asked me what I told him. It has PEEP, it has PIP, and this. They told us that you're doing well, you can continue. So it was a great time. So WHO came and I think they gave information to the United Nations, and the United Nations again awarded me this title of United Nations Person of the Year. alongside my friends. And this one was a big achievement, not just the title itself, but the fact that we had written with indelible ink, with an ink that will never be rubbed. And also, it changed the story about how people look at Africans, the way we think, and how we can come up with our own solutions made by the African students and the African people. I think that. So it was going to change the story, and even the learning and thinking of the African child, whether in Africa or outside Africa, is that we have the ability to do everything. The next research we did in Kiambu Level 5 Hospital, check why the behavior of the community, there are so many dropping out, people are not using contraception and everything. And we wanted to find out what is informing this behavior. Is it the access to this contraceptive? Is it the knowledge is the problem? And why is it that that kind of population, what is going on in a given only age group of active young people are the ones who are involved in this. So we did a research. It was a very good research because it was actually scheduled to be presented in France. It was going to present in France. It was another very good achievement. From there, I also did. I was also involved in what we call those are competition for United Nations, and it was involving all universities. And the university that was hosting it was in KU. I participated in it. I did not win. I was I was number 4 in the presentation, but it was about inventing, coming up with food as a solution, food as a drug, food as a solution. So mine was about food being a solution in terms of a drug, and I presented mine. I came out as number 4. I did not proceed very far, but it was still a good achievement because I'm always encouraged to try and change my environment, and that's what I always want to do. So it was also during this period of COVID where the KISWATE brain holder, or the brainchild, Mr. Pius, he wanted students who would, it was just when KISWATE was starting, so this during this 2020, COVID-19 period, 2019-2020. And I actually had a phone call. It was through an advert. He had asked for students who are doing medicine and surgery who could help even in just mentoring some students, because he wants to change the society, to impact the society in a big way. That's what he wants. And he shared this idea with me. I actually made a phone call. We had a Zoom. It was at the time this Zoom was coming up. So he organized a Zoom and we talked with him face to face. And he also heard about my ideas and he loved them in terms of a person who is involved in invention. And just like him, I have a vision that in the future could also impact the society. So I really loved his idea of he wants to change the society, he wants to impact the society. He wants to impact especially people in the village, people who are poor, people who don't have a means, through education. And then as it started as Kiswahili Tekelezi. So it was functional Swahili, right? So we were even not just mentoring students, but also making Swahili a lingua franca, a language that people can communicate with each other throughout Africa and even outside Africa. As Africans meet, if you speak Kiswahili, everybody can listen. So it's about togetherness also. So I also loved this idea. And it was also this period that I had issues with school fees, and I informed him that I have a few issues in school fees, and he came in to help me here and there. Also issues with how I could live, because you're in school and you need some pocket money, you need something to, well, as a medical doctor, right? Medical doctor, so that the patients can trust you. Don't dress like a thug. Then you're trying to examine students, right? And he really came in handy. He was giving us jobs to empower us. He will tell you, I want you to type for me this, right? I want you to type for me this. I want you to make this kind of document, and through it, you will give me something that will, and this came in really handy. And we did this with a group of other friends. So this is how we started working together with KISWATE. And I loved, and my vision to impact the society, to change it in a positive way, and also the dreams of KISWATE of changing the society, the children at home, and those people aspiring to live a good life out of poverty. I really loved this, and we bought in together, and I became a member of KISWATE and was a number. I'm number 8 here. I'm student number 8. Going forward from here, if I graduate, I'll become a medical doctor. After internship, the dream is to impact my society. I was just a child. The Fred who was selling biscuit was just a child, but had a dream from that age to become a medical doctor. One main reason was to help other children not to lose their parents so that they can live a fulfilling life with their parents. And that one can only be done by proper health care. There are so many people out there, especially in the villages, who cannot access a medical doctor. They are accessing some other kind of primary health care, which is good, and they're doing a good job. But getting a person who is highly trained, they cannot get. A person who can do their cesarean section, their children who are lost there at home. I'm coming out of this place, I'll be able to do cesarean sections. There are people outside there who have tumors that cannot be diagnosed, not because of anything, but because of poor facilities. And also they cannot access a medical doctor who is trained in this. Remember, in medicine, you can only diagnose what you've been taught. So there are diseases out there that go for years without being diagnosed. Medical doctors, and Freddie as a medical doctor, I want to acquire, even from here in the future, I'll go to look for the best education and come and use this education to fulfill this dream, to help that parent to diagnose the disease early, to give the exact good treatment that is needed so that they can go back home and take care of that young Freddie at home, to take care of them through the stages so that they don't undergo the traumas and live a fulfilled life. The Freddie that was down there in Nias, the dream does not stop in just becoming a medical doctor. It is to impact the society, save that child with his paper and pen. That child who is yearning for education but is dropping out, does not have a paper and pen to write, needs a library. So it's not just giving help. I want to impact that child, to give them an opportunity to realize their dreams, because every dream is valid. And finally, I want to use my influence as a head of state commendation to impact the society, to influence the non-governmental organizations and even the government to give medical care a priority. Not just medical care, but quality medical care, especially in the villages. In the villages, that's where there's life is, and those people deserve good care. Through prevention, I still do prevention talks through KISWATE TV. I talk about prevention of diseases, and I still talk through other media stations, through my social media handles. I still talk about, if you go to my LinkedIn, you'll find me talking about conditions. And aim here is to prevent or early diagnosis. And that is my duty and my role. And anybody who is ready to help me walk through this journey will be highly welcome, and we'll work together and we'll impact the society in a very positive way that nobody can ever forget. My name is Kotieno Frederick Nundu. Those are the names. If you type in LinkedIn, you'll find this face there, and you'll access me. You'll send for me a request, and I'll come and accept. That is my main area where I post all my medical knowledge, my medical stuff, and that's how I influence people. My numbers are +254 700 346 436, +254 700 346 436. My email is Frederick Nundu 93@gmail.com. It's just my name, Frederick Nundu 93@gmail.com. In Facebook, I'm called Frederick Daktari.